If you're a trader around here, we don't want you around here. Now, if you got something that you can show that say that's not what you're doing, then I'm willing to work with you. But if not, you know you can't be around here. Something that you can show that say that's not what you're doing, then I'm willing to work with you. But if not, that's the case. You know you can't be around here. Yeah. Now, some people are going to say he died because of that, but that was just the man saying, hey, period.
Well, the guy, he had a vision on what he wanted to do. And I guess you could say it was one of the things that he probably had thought about doing something along the economic thing to help people out because, the way he was, the way he thought, I guess the way he was brought up, that you help other people out if you're in a position to do that. And he got into that position and, smart enough, diligent enough, worked evidently, and he had a plan. Once he got the money,
I'll tell you another thing he took that going kind of unnoticed, and I want to challenge the brother Chomsky on this and just give you something to think about.
Hello? Oh, okay. Yeah. When y'all ready? Oh, go ahead with your challenge real quick.
Okay, I'll say this in 3 minutes. I know you talked about how it's genius for us not to bring up Trump and talking about progression as far as the community goes, but when you're talking about Nipsey Hussle, to tie that in, right?
Yeah.
Nipsey did a song with IG called FBP.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The last thing he did, actually, in his interview with Forbes, if you go back and check it out, I think it's from like February 29th, or around there, 28th. The last thing he did was talk about how he was buying and investing in his community because of opportunity zones.
You bring that up on the show because that's basically the angle that I want to go is on the two energies surrounding, this brother, and if the two connect. You feel me? Because I was saying it was genius, not in the way that it was like, genius, but the very fact that you can't give black people straight information or straight facts because, you feel me, it might be Donald Trump name attached to it, or Bush, or Obama, or anybody. You feel me? For that matter. The very fact that, that we got to jump through loops and we got to come with like the trickeration just to deliver a basic, solid message to the people who say they struggling and they want something. That's why I was saying that it was genius.
And it was. I agree with your point.
Yeah. Tony Brown Journal, one of the first brothers that was really on TV breaking down a lot of good politics, and he showed how he went and got like $150 million for the HBCUs, and I think that still stands as the biggest check a brother ever went and got for the HBCUs. So I'm just saying that whatever politician is the president, we're supposed to be getting something out of it. I don't care about the party. You feel me? The very fact is that if a president is representing America, we supposed to benefit regardless of party. You feel me? Somewhere along the line, whoever the politician is, he's going to have some type of pipeline that people can benefit from if you know about it. Feel me? Wow. But I'm ready to get on this air, man.
Let's go.
Hello?
Yeah.
Are you there, Charles?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You been on for 10 minutes?
We on live?
Yes, sir.
Oh, brother, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Oh, my bad, everybody.
No, what happened was, someone was talking about something. He wanted to tell you what he was talking about also. But go ahead on. He was talking about Nipsey. Go ahead on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Charles Field Show. Go ahead, Charles.
All right, thank you. We live on the air, my bad people. Thanks for checking in to Duke City Radio. This Shark Spear. And the topic tonight is the two energies surrounding the Nipsey Hussle death. And those two energies are the positive things that the brother was doing in the community that a lot of people were talking about. And the other one is the gang mentality that actually killed the brother. And can those two energies actually push the black community forward? And if they can't, how can we get rid of the gangster mentality? I got a couple of people on the line that's going to contribute. My brother Pit Boss, you there? Digital Pit Boss?
I'm in the building.
You can't hear you.
I said I'm in the building. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You kind of low, though. Yeah, you're a little bit louder now.
Okay. I'm in the building, though. I'm checking in.
Okay. Yeah, so these two energies, you know, it's a good thing right now where there's so many people, you know, that want to like highlight some of the good things his brother did in the community, that, you know, STEM programs or whatever for some kids, and, you know, just black ownership in the black community in general, owning the means of production like we always talk about on this show. If you don't own the means of production, what does it make you? The ancestors said slave. So the very fact that the brother was actually controlling the means of his production, but at the same time, the mentality that made him popular among the people who knew him is actually what murdered him. So can the two energies exist, or is the murder of Nipsey Hussle actually an indication to black people that it's time to challenge the gangster mentality? If it's time to challenge the gangster mentality, how do we challenge it? Does violence come with it? Do we have the information necessary to even talk somebody up out of the gangster mentality? Do we even have the skills to take on the positive projects that Nipsey Hussle had going on? Like the STEM program for the little children, where the brother said his goal was to get the kids to Silicon Valley, where they could make some big money. Like, should we be talking big money in the black community, or should we be talking big welfare system? What's the connection between the welfare system and the gangster mentality? Do they go together? Why is it that the gangsters that's dying for these communities don't even have basic programs going on in the community that's advancing the community? How is it that the gangster mentality is destroying the black community, lowering the value of the black community, lowering the value of black lives, lowering the value of the black woman, and at the same time be representing the black community in the mainstream? And all we do is sit up in awe and look at it. A total contradiction. The gangster mentality and the building mentality, the nation building mentality can't mix. The brother trying to build something, and he get killed with the mentality that got him known. This is a hell of a dilemma in the black community, and I want to get a lot of people's input tonight on these energies that's going and how we're going to ride them out and what's the impact going to be on the black future. Because we still got a lot of information that's going to come out concerning this brother's death and the people that's going to try to continue his work business-wise in the black community, and what type of issues going to come up out of that, since the brother's brother, Nipsey Hussle's brother, said at the funeral that one of the biggest pushbacks that they were getting was from the DA and the LAPD. So we already know, since so many people constantly talk about Black Wall Street was burnt down, the very fact that blacks don't even have a black agenda, economic agenda, the very fact that we don't have an economic agenda, but then praising this brother for the economics he had going on in his small community, the very fact that we got all of these stars that came out that had way much more money than that brother, but they're not doing none of the things that the brother was doing. So it obviously, it's two energies. Those two energies existed before Nipsey Hussle, and we've seen both of them in action. One built, one destroyed. This is a hell of a dilemma, and when we start pointing our fingers to outside groups, how much strength, what's the potential for us to win when we're working with a contradiction, oil and water, two mentalities that we're trying to preserve, the gangster mentality and the nation building mentality. It don't work. We talking about gentrification, but the black people is making gentrification possible because they tearing up the property. They hanging out on other people's property. They got the community afraid of them, not the Ku Klux Klan. Bloods and Crips killed more blacks than the Ku Klux Klan did 10 times. Ku Klux Klan in 80 years reportedly lynched 8,000 blacks. Blacks is killing 8,000 blacks annually, and then rap about it, and we dancing to it, and smiling to it, and letting our children listen to it. We got gangster rappers actually speaking politically. How is it that somebody who could call a black woman bitch at home talk about selling drugs and killing blacks and tearing up the community? How is it that these same people got easy access to the White House? How they get on the stage at the big events? How is it that the microphone is in their mouth? What's the mentality of the people that's paying these brothers that's talking about nothing but destruction? How do we confront it? You there, Pit Boss?
I'm here, brother.
Okay, give me some insight so we can kick this off.
All right. Well, since we're talking about the two energies, can you hear me clearly?
I hear you better now when you say, can you hear me?
Okay.
Much better now.
No sweat. So I like to get into the most prominent energy, which we could call the negative energy, because his career was built upon the gangster mentality And I believe everybody would agree that would be the negative of the energies. So stunningly, his come out song was called Bullets Ain't Got No Names. And the lyrics went something like this. The sun is shining and still it's raining, and you ain't got to ask where he from. Just spray him by the look on his face. You could tell he banging. See the look on his face when that thing start ringing. One down, two to go. Suspect usual. Murder scene. The routine ain't new to you. Switch cars, double back. One down, double that. Yellow tape the gate. Where the niggas at? Some niggas need a bullet before they learn their lesson. You still ain't got your gun. You ain't got the message. My enemies, they know. They say he got extras. When I come through, I only got one question. Why you niggas keep hanging out? That's the verse 2 of his song. And the chorus went, why you niggas outside without no gun? You think this shit is a game. But no, not at all. I'll hop out gunning and show you niggas I ain't playing. Pull the trigger, shoot that nigga, make sure that you get him, because bullets ain't got no names. Pull the trigger, shoot that nigga, make sure that you get him, because bullets ain't got no names. Now, in a prophetic way, he wrote the scene to his own death. He played both characters. Now, it's not hard to do this if you're gang banging in Los Angeles. This is a everyday innocence. This is something that happens in every neighborhood in the county of Los Angeles and then abroad. Now, let me switch gears and deal with the positive energy. Whenever you become famous for rapping or for making money, whether you drug dealing or however you get it, and you've been grown up in this negative environment of gangbanging in Los Angeles, the epiphany that now that you've made it, it appears that the scars in the streets need some saving. They need some healing. And because you're not fighting against poverty anymore, you now can deal with real issues that affect yourself, real issues that affect others. You're also exposed to other energies. Nipsey Hussle in particular ran across a black guy sitting in like a coffee shop, I believe. And he was on his computer and he had these particular gloves and he was operating with something that Nipsey had never seen someone do. So Nipsey stopped to ask this brother about what he was doing. And the brother told him that he was a computer programmer from Silicon Valley and that he was inventing the internet of the future. This sparked his understanding of the STEM, which the brother Shakespeare spoke about earlier, where it would ignite the positive, that although he's the rose that grew from the concrete and he survived the struggle, he now can see the light. He now can see a better way because opportunities have come his way. And he could have been self-righteous and kept his money and did his thing and ignored the hood like many rappers do. But it wasn't in his heart. And we could see that from the way that people loved him after his death. We could see all the love that they've shared. Now, it's something in particular about gangbangers that they only really feel the message if it comes from an image that looks like themselves. because it's very easy to look around Los Angeles and see the multi-black millionaires all through the hoods, in every hood. Only within a football field distance, Magic Johnson got all kinds of shops, all kinds of stores, restaurants, everything that you can imagine that an individual could do for the black neighborhood, for the consciousness of black people to see what the opportunities could be. But yet, we don't really pay attention to Magic Johnson in Los Angeles in that way. Maybe on the death of Magic Johnson, we'll pay attention to what Magic Johnson is doing in the city of Los Angeles. But he's absolutely probably one of the biggest black investors in the black neighborhood, and especially in Nip's neighborhood, just down the street. I couldn't imagine all the businesses of Magic Johnson's I've stepped in. TGI Fridays, Starbucks Coffee, in Inglewood, on Crenshaw Boulevard, movie theaters, 1,000 reasons that we could be inspired, but yet our inspiration is clogged by the other energy, the self-hatred of becoming the gang bang mentality. And for Los Angeles kids, this mentality is introduced to them through hatred from the police, hatred from your own brother, hatred from the Mexican and black gang warfare that's not spoken about. And with the onslaught of immigration and Guatemalans and others who are going to participate in the opportunity for success, those are going to be other obstacles facing people in Los Angeles as time moves in and they start to acquire economics in the black neighborhoods. And then your competition level for success goes up due to all of these opportunities that America has to offer. But since the gang mentality is most affected by negative energy, they can't see the prosperity right in front of them. So Nipsey Hussle was a shining example of that prosperity in his own neighborhood. When you look at his store, you can go online, click on the Marathon store, and glide right through it through STEM technology. You can see the prosperity that he was sharing with this community. Now, due to shows like this, where we speak about these subjects and everybody has opinions, the message gets convoluted and the thousands of opinions that come out overnight about the situation. And the positive energy is always drowned out by the stronger negative energy that seems to always hover around our community, no matter what it is. But looking at Nipsey Hussle and understanding that he pushed the STEM program. Why did he push the STEM program? Because the negative energy is built on the hustle, and the hustle is built on a STEM-based education. You know, I don't know if it dawned on Nipsey at some point in time that selling crack is a STEM occupation. You need to know science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to be a crack dealer, to be a weed seller, to be a hustler, to be a gangster, to dodge the police, to get to the business. You got to be about your business. This is why he named his store the Marathon, because this struggle for success, happiness, and the pursuit of happiness, it's a marathon race. As Farrakhan said, it ain't a light jog, it's long distance. It's interesting that it's racism. It's all those things compiled into the perspective. But it's very interesting that he promoted the STEM, because the black neighborhood is deprived of the STEM. And I know Sharp Spear, you built on the Booker T paradigm of Tuskegee and talking about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We've been doing this type of thing online for years, but we didn't have that bullhorn, that loud speakerphone that Nipsey Hussle had. And we could say, as he expressed himself, he did rap songs with blood neighborhoods, trying to set an example for those that were like him, to understand that it's okay to like your brother of another color, of another flag. He's just like you with a different color on. And if we got every rapper to express that to us on a constant basis, then slowly things would change. We would start to go from the negative energy into the positive energy. This is
Let me
why.
ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this real quick. So, do you think that black people can actually ride the positive way if it's not delivered with the negative energy, to where, you know, it's almost like if you have the outside appearance of a gangster and you got a little success, then people might listen to the common sense thing, but you got to actually represent, like your message got to be wrapped up in the gangster paradigm? You think it can happen without the gangster paradigm?
Well, when you say black people in this context, we really only speaking about a portion of us, and those are those that identify with the gangster mentality. And so when you look at other groups who have issues, they can get inspiration from anywhere. I mean, obviously, when we listen to these lyrics and we see all these fancy cars and foreign whips and diamond chains, that certainly doesn't come from the black neighborhood, but we are inspired by it. We're inspired for the Gucci shoes and the Louis belts. It doesn't come from our neighborhood. So absolutely, these people can be inspired by things that do not come from people that look like them. But the message is diluted as it gets closer to the inner city neighborhood. Because the reality is, when you're living on the block, your closest expressions of success when you're living in the hood is a gangbanger who got his money on. This is what inspires it. This is why rappers become so big, because the people that follow them are looking for someone they identify to lead them. So though they can be inspired outside the neighborhood, the inspiration that they need first starts within themselves. They see, the gangster mentality was created by this group and can only be destroyed by this group. But see, if you got to the real message of, do the gangbangers want to burn their flag and denounce their hood, you couldn't get 10 of them, not 10 of the leadership that's active to do that, because they got too many years of self-hatred built upon them. The only time I've heard of a gangbanger that wanted to stop gangbanging is he had to first go through the penitentiary, he had to first get shot, he had to first get arrested, he had to first go through the drama before he ever thought about he didn't want to participate in this no more. But eventually, as they get old and gray and they pancreatic cancer kick in, and all of a sudden your back is hurting and you ain't that bulletproof machine you used to be when you was 20, and that knockout punch you got just ain't as strong as it used to be, they start getting new ideas. And as you know, Shakespeare, we grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood. We fully understand the mindset of a gangbanger. I don't know, I must know about 800 from my neighborhood, at least 800. A whole entire school of gangbangers I grew up looking at. I know all the way they think. And so they have to be inspired with among themselves. But it's going to take a Nipsey Hussle to be the example. This is why they loved him. This is why they crying on both sides of the map. It's because he was one from among them who dared to take that chance and make that change. It's sad, but it is what it is. The problem with the cure.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the problem with the cure of Nipsey passing is that the truth can't come out. Nobody, see, I ask you this question. This is a rough question. This is a hard question, but the gangbanger gonna feel me. Was Shitty Cuz gangster for what he did according to gang bang rules? Was that nigga gangster?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
There lies the problem. That Nipsey's song, let me read these lyrics again. Let me go to verse 1. Because I'm not going to necessarily say, because I know it was a collective process for Shitty Cuz to become gangster. But obviously he was gangster because he didn't hesitate. If he's the, I don't know, they say he did it. But if he the one who did it, and he that guy on that camera, then according to gangbangers, he was gangster than a motherfucker. Had no fear about being gangster. It's sad, but it's their rules, not mine, right? So here's the first verse. Why you niggas act as if your body built to survive the shots, knowing damn well that after I get cracking, you're gonna be outlined in chalk. The sun is shining and still it's raining. If you don't want to get wet, then boy, stop hanging. My hood is warring, so ain't no warnings. Niggas, I'll take your life. Now your mama is mourning. I done seen it happen when we got cracking. 6 minutes later, they got right back at us. 10 minutes later, we got right back at them. My burner is hot. It put a hole in my mattress. Bullets ain't got no names. Now, if that ain't Shitty Cuz, I don't know what is. And did Shitty Cuz ever hear this song? Did he repeat this song to himself like a satanic ritual 1,000 times? Did he also hear this ritual playing on the radio 10,000 times? Did he hear it in the cars going by the street, bumping in the 6-4 another 10,000 times, until somewhere in his mind, in his subconscious, he lost focus of who God was? And then when he met Nipsey, he couldn't see Nipsey as a shining example of the light. And so without no fear, without no feelings, not even for himself or his family or his brothers or the girls or the people involved that took them bullets after it was all done, the aftermath, the 6 minutes later, we got right back at them. That was also true. This is gang warfare, and this is what they do. And though he was an example, that Nipsey gave his life to be an example for his hood, ain't a motherfucking thing gonna change based on the fact that the gangster mentality has yet to be denounced by the gang or by the opposite gang. And since nobody is denouncing, since nobody won't denounce it,
Yes, sir. I'm with
I let it ride.
you.
No, finish up, Pit Boss, because I want Snake Charmer to jump on.
Okay, I'm right at the end. I was just gonna say, yeah, until the last body fall and those that participate say to themselves, enough is enough, then the other slogan lives forever, that gangsters don't die, they only multiply.
That's cold. A real sacrificial system that people not really realizing. But go ahead, Snake Charmer.
Well, just to touch on what the brother said about the gang bang and that gangster mentality, I think it's you are what you eat, physically and mentally and spiritually. And right now we eating a lot of garbage as black men. we're getting garbage in and garbage out. And one of the things I think that we have to realize is that gangster culture and gangster mentality is an addiction. Once you listen to it that much and live it that much, it is an addiction. Now the real question is, how do we get away from it? What do we do to actually get away from it?
That's it.
We got somebody speaking.
Did you say?
Somebody call. Yes, ma'am.
Here.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a seed lady. I'm over here making some collard green tacos, listening to the Kings rap about this situation. How are all of you? Blessings.
Bless. How you doing, Queen?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm out in the fields and got these collard greens. I'm whipping it up. So I just wanted to make an announcement because I can't stay, but I'm loving this conversation. I'm enjoying you. Who's the brother that was born repeating the lyrics? Now, what's your name?
That's Digital Pit Boss out of Atlanta, Georgia.
We got Digital.
That's the brother I was telling you about that was carrying the greens from state to state.
Ah.
Yeah.
Blessings, King. How are you?
How you doing, C lady? I done definitely talked about you on my show several times in your story.
Well, I just came to give you a public service announcement, and I'm gonna get off because and greetings to you, Snake Charmer.
How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm blessed, King. I just wanted to tell you a little something about the Queens. Nipsey Hussle's mother and I go to the same spiritual center, Harass Unity Center in South LA. So I've been gone for about 10 years, but I came back last weekend to let them know that I was bringing the keys to the kingdom and throwing them at their feet. And we got to figure out what we're going to do with all this money we got so that we can infuse the city with light. We're getting ready to light the city of angels up with the real. Number one, real food. Number two, real jobs. We got jobs for every kid in the city because we're only eating what we grow. And since we have all the food, the St. Lawrence Seaway is broken up from the ice. The ships can come in from Africa and bring all the African food. It's on. So we announced it at the church, and they were talking about the Nipsey Hussle situation, just like you are all tonight. But I wanted to just say something to you, Kings, before I go. Number one, two things. We're covering up the gunshot with the Band-Aid. You know, there was a deeper conversation about why these children are banging. Why do we have these hoods? Why does this stuff exist? And it's all linked to global trade. And it's all linked to global trade, but you know, I'm into that. But it's all linked to the global trade of dope. And because these children, they're born and raised on these blocks, they never leave these blocks. But yet they have the finest Peruvian cocaine, Bolivian cocaine, Afghanistan heroin, marijuana, and cocaine. They have all this stuff that comes into the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, mysteriously, to make it to the blocks for them to have a reason to bang. Now, this stuff wasn't always there. You know, I've seen it come, and I've seen it multiply. But in my elder years, I will tell you this. There'll come a day when all of it will soak up. You'll never touch it again because you'll understand that in order to get right, well, not in order to get right, but when you get right, you never get left. You never get left behind when you get right. And I think that's what was happening with this young man. He was making the transition. And that in itself created the firestorm. But believe me, after the hours after it happened, the incident happened, the news reports in LA coming from the LAPD said that it was all drug and gang related and all kind of stuff. Little did they know the love that these young people have for one another, irregardless to their sex. They don't even understand the essence of what's going on right now with them. They don't know. That's one reason why Bill Gates invented this diabolical impossible burger, whatever it is he's done, meat that bleeds, and put it in all of our Burger Kings and all. Knowing the people eat it. Now, why are they doing all these things? It has changed, and we have to change with it. All of that singing about killing each other and all of that, the backlash is coming, rappers. From the top one to the bottom one. Their backlash on every word you have ever said negatively about our community is coming to bite you in the ass. Because let me tell you about the Queens, we now set up today safe passage. We have our own Lyft and Uber. We are picking each other up and taking each other where we need to go, and our children and our kings and our elders. We have our own now. We just set it up today. The time is coming. The queens are rising. And we got all the seeds for you. So we're encouraging you, young men, to detox, stop eating garbage, start growing food for us as well as yourself, and come on back home to Watts, because Watts is rising. And no matter what happens out here, we are going to stick together and we're going to stay on point. And eventually, you all will never use again, because you'll see what it did to us. And the $1 million question is, where is this dope coming from? How does it get in the country? How come it's on every block? Why is everyone using it? And then testing it. What is it really? What's on it? What's in it? Why did they bring it to us? What are we doing? We're going to wake up. And it's starting with the queens. So I just want to thank you for letting me speak. I'm going to try to continue to hear you for a minute, but I have to go. I have some contracts to write. But Sharp Spears, thank you so much for letting me know you all were going to be on tonight. And I thank you. I thank all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And spit your website out to the community.
It's wattsgardenclub.com. WATTSGARDENCLUB.com. And let me tell you, I was on the corner of Century and Compton Avenue. And they brought that boy's body down that road. He came to Watts. They brought his body down that road. He rolled right past me, and it just hit me when I saw it. I saw him there, and I just you know me, I just start screaming, Black Power, rest in peace, Black Power. And I didn't even realize I had on red, black, and green. I was in the middle of the street screaming my lungs out. They was like, go, see lady, go. I was, oh my God, it stopped when he passed by me. Something just hit me. So we're steady on the case over here in Watts. And I urge everybody, come home to Watts. We got it going on. WattsGardenClub.com. Thank you.
Wow. Peace, Queen. Thanks for popping in.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
One love.
One love.
Absolutely, Miss Carter.
Hello, how are you?
Go ahead, hey, Charlie.
I enjoyed listening to you again.
Yes, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Snake Shaman.
Okay, I just want to touch on some points that the brother made. How that gangster mentality and the gangster feeling that's in our community is an addiction, just like a lot of the drugs are. That lifestyle, you get addicted to it because what it does is it pulls you away from the mainstream, and you basically get used to living your own life, controlling your own time, and doing what you want to do with your own time. Now, the problem is a lot of us don't take that time to do positive things. I can remember being out there at one point, and we would gamble, and all we did was play Madden all day. Now, everybody had something going on, but it centered around getting together, gambling, playing Madden, and waiting on your phone to ring. So you can go and make this sale or that sale, or pull up on this, or somebody pull up on you and you step out or whatever. But he started that way because one of his idols was Snoop Dogg. So it reflected in his early songs. But later on, as he got older, you could see the change in his music, how it evolved. And you could see the change in his actions. Because I tell you what, I had a bet with a buddy one time. And we were betting about who was actually had a bigger net worth. Was it Nipsey Hussle or Snoop Dogg? And this was a few years ago, and I bet Nipsey Hussle. And at the time, Nipsey Hussle, his net worth was only $2 million. Snoop Dogg's was like $125 million. I didn't know that. And I thought since Nipsey was actually an independent artist, that he would be worth more, but he was only worth $2 million. But even at that time, he still had businesses in that community. Even though he had $120 million less than Snoop, and probably $800 million less than Dr. Dre, he still had more of an impact in the community. Now, what was that, brother?
No, I said, yeah, exactly.
I wanted to go, one of the songs he did was a song called Dedication. This is an excerpt of some of the lyrics from Dedication. It's a song he did with Kendrick Lamar. So you know what Kendrick Lamar's lyrics are like. They're positive. But Nipsey's, a synopsis of his lyrics are, this is dedication, anti-hesitation, a real nigga celebration. It's the remedy to separation. The Tupac of my generation, a young black nigga trapped, and he can't change it. He knows he's a genius, but he can't claim it. Because they left him no platform to explain it. He's frustrated, so he gets faded. But deep down, he knows that they can't fade him. So how long should I stay dedicated? How long before opportunity meets preparation? I need some real nigga reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation. Dedication, hard work plus patience, the symbol of my sacrifice. I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. I told you I wasn't playing. Now you see what I've been saying. Dedication. Then he goes on to say, this is not entertainment. This is for them niggas on the slave ships. These songs are just spirituals that I swam against the waves with. I ended up on shore, much to their amazement. Now they hope that the example I set is not contagious. They lock us behind gates, but they can't change. It used to be stay safe, now it's stay dangerous. Because ain't no point in playing defense, nigga. That's why I dove off the deep end, nigga, without a life jacket. A couple meal, toured the world, all my life cracking. Cook the books, bring it back, so there's no taxes. Royalties, publishing, plus I own my masters. I'll be damned if I slave for some white crackers. You run a couple marathons just to get established. To make it, you gotta have dedication. Now that was a man evolving. He came in with bullets ain't got no name. He went out with dedication. In that song, he explained how we know we're smart. We know we put here on earth to be better than we are, but we don't have the platform. He was helping to put that platform together. He was helping create that outlet with Vector 90, with the Marathon Story. He was hiring people that could not be hired. Straight from the penitentiary. Jacksons, killers, murderers, gangbangers. Putting them right to work. Creating situations where they could earn. Honestly. Now, these are guys that would not deal with somebody that was not like them. Somebody that's not like them offering him an opportunity is really putting his life at risk. And ultimately, his life is at risk.
So is it the energy that a lot of people is not paying attention, that out of the millions of people that live in California, it was actually him that got murdered? Because when we talk about this platform, like, is only the gangster platform? Like, do you need the gangster platform to even be recognized so that you can deliver the message? Like that message you had that you just read with dedication, can you deliver that message without being a gangster?
No, you can, but not effectively. In my opinion, you can, but not effectively. But you have to use a couple scriptural examples are God delivered the chosen people from Egypt into the promised land, but he didn't let everybody go in because he didn't want a certain mentality in there.
Okay.
It's a certain segment that's just lost.
So you saying because ultimately, like, the Queen just, see Lady Watts, she just talked about how all the foreign dope is on the block. And we grinded, and then Pitbull mentioned it also, as far as like, we got the foreign dope, we gotta know numbers, and we gotta know how to operate the scale to weigh out the dope. We gotta take razor blades and cut the dope up. We gotta get bags, and we gotta bag up the dope. We gotta weigh the dope. We gotta deliver the dope. So we're going through all of these steps, right? And we see how the dope is feeding the mentality. But if we were to get rid of the mentality, do we actually need medicine to get off the mentality? Or do we just need pure food and the proper ideology? Because one of the situations that's going on right now is we got the gang mentality and the destruction that it injects on the black community. And now we got the mental health / pharmaceutical scam. That's pretty much the answer with a lot of black people actually saying, hey, come indoctrinate and infiltrate the black community with these pharmaceuticals. So now here it is, our people on these foreign drugs, and then eventually when they get off the foreign drugs, they getting on the legal pharmaceutical drugs. So now we analyzing this situation, and we saying the remedy is a pill and not just business. See what I'm saying? Because like you said, the brother was hiring people who in mainstream society wasn't employable. Is a paycheck medicine? Can it help you overcome the gang mentality, or do you actually need some drugs? You feel me?
Yeah.
And then it's also when we dealing with the energy, because the queen said something cold, and this is what I said earlier, and I mean the queen came and she put the energy behind it. These brothers that's doing this rap, it's real energy and spirit and vibrations behind that rap. You calling the queens, you disrespecting the queens and the kings in the community. Like one of those sisters told Eazy-E, I think Jada Pickett, somebody told me, Jada Pickett told Eazy-E, I can't feel good about myself listening to your music. See what I'm saying? So now the thing is that it's probably more people that know the lyrics of a rapper than they know the sermons of a preacher or of a imam or any religious leader, any religious doctrine. Like it's more people who know the lyrics of rappers than of a religious doctrine. So really, we're dealing with a religion. Didn't Snoop Dogg get on the stage and basically almost quoted a Bible verse and then put prick in the verse?
Yeah.
How that brother went up there and he pricked all the way in front of the world when all of these bloods actually stepped up outside of their paradigm and acknowledged Nipsey Hussle. But then that dude went up there and he act like as if the other side didn't exist. People that you normally see never show public sympathy for the other side. So now when we talk about these these two energies, you know, like what was that about? The queen said that the lyrics is gonna come back to bite them in the butt. Like we too far in the game to still be pretending like we can tolerate these brothers with these doctrines that don't make us feel good about ourselves. Don't motivate us to live crime free. Don't motivate us to do something for our community and for our family. Don't motivate us to be skillful and useful, etc., etc. Go ahead, Snake Charmer.
Yeah, you really brought it around, man. That was it's a balance. It's a balance. It's one that I struggled with for a long time and still struggle with in terms of a certain mentality. But I know I had to literally get away from certain things to stop doing certain things. You have to basically swear off. Those two energies can't mix, to be honest with you, in order for you to succeed completely. They can't mix. You know, it looks like some people can pull it off, can't mix the energies. You can't mix them. You can't.
So basically, what you're saying is we really got to declare war. Ultimately, that's what we're saying. We got to declare war, and they go back to where we really got to understand the situation to the point where the gangster mentality and the gangster culture is so strong that if that's one of the most effective platforms for the black man is the gangster paradigm, knowing all what we know, the results of all what we know, we got a problem on our hand that definitely we gonna have to get a think tank together and figure out how we gonna attack that. But we already know what the answer is because the ancestors gave us the answer.
And yeah, the blueprint is there. The blueprint is definitely there. I know. I was telling my young brother that just got out. He did quite a bit of time, man, probably close to 18. But he really thought he was going to end up doing life. But because of some law changes and some things that went on in his case, he basically ended up with time served. And there was a point in time where he was kind of teetering back and forth as to whether or not he would be able to get out or not. And eventually he was able to get out, to be set free. And I know I did a couple years. And it was a situation where I was either going home or never going home. And during that time, I made some promises to God. And I was telling the young brother that if you made promises to God, whatever promises you made, you're going to have to keep. Now, you might find out 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years from now that you're going to have to honor your word, but you will have to honor your word or nothing's going to go right. It's not going to go right for you. Some things that I did to earn money before I got locked up, when I tried it after I got out, after I made those promises, it was like water through my fingers, sand, dust in my hand. The money would come, the opportunity would come, and then before you know it, it would just evaporate. It was gone. And the closer you got to it, the further away it was. I mean, it was always something that would create a situation where it went bad. And this was something I could do with my eyes closed before. Things I could do in my sleep before to make money. No problem. And then it finally hit me one day. Those promises you made, you got to keep. You have to keep. And we as a people going to have to keep the promises that our ancestors made. The covenant that was made and the prayers that were sent up when they were really struggling. We violating that right now, man. We're killing each other and living the way we living. We in total violation.
Pitbull, you there, brother? Go ahead, say something. I hear you.
I was about to say, until we start realizing that and living like that, a lot of the stuff that we try, man, is going to be like sand through your fingers. You're not going to be able to hold on to nothing.
And that's pretty much getting the results. That's pretty much been the result. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say, you know, I'm very wrong when it comes down to the rap industry. But what my thing is with the guy, maybe you all seen it and I didn't catch it in here, but Nipsey. What was this about? What was the incident about this? Is it known yet? I know they said there was some argument between him and another guy on that day. The guy came back, the girl was driving the car, and he got out of the car, came and shot him, and then, you know, they took off. I haven't heard anything as far as a follow-up, and I probably just missed it somewhere. Have you heard anything as to...
Ultimately, I would answer it more like identity. To where when you think of the gangster mentality, you think of brothers who then, you know, created a name and an image for themselves. So they might call themselves, you know, like this particular brother name was Shitty Cuz. So his name, Shitty, was just pretty much saying that he don't follow any law or order or decency. But he got a gold chain on the mentality. You see what I'm saying? So now that mentality of being shitty, and then somehow Nipsey Hussle being somebody that is successful, you automatically got somebody like Shitty who would pretty much stop the success. Like his whole energy would be to sacrifice your life to stop the success of his other brother. And that's all, and the motive could be that, to where he could say it was something else, like somebody could have paid him, somebody could have talked him into it, like it could be 1,000 other reasons why he did it, but the one reason to show that he did it was he built himself up as a character already by his name and by him thinking, putting his energy into the name and how he viewed himself and life. Only thing he was going to do was pretty much stop and murder the most productive among us. Other than that, it didn't count because the negative energy can only, or its choice, its best choice, and its mission is to stop the most productive. But Pit Boss and Snake Charmer, they can put theirs on it.
Okay.
Well, what I'm saying, you know, just maybe a little more specific. Have anybody heard about what the argument was about that they had that day? No, it's not out. Okay, I just want to know
the argument. Some people say that the argument was saying that the brother who killed Nipsey Hussle was basically had told some information to the police, so he was a snitch. So that's one of the mainstream stories, is that Nipsey Hussle basically called him a snitch. So once you call him a snitch, if that information is true, then that means that you pretty much just snatched this person's whole identity from him. Because he's been building himself up as a gangster and a killer and et cetera, but if you a snitch, that means you failed at being a gangster. So now this identity and this loyalty that you've been putting all your energy into is snatched. It was snatched away, so it's almost like you're naked now. So that's also a reason where somebody could say, man, you just snatched my identity and I'm going to kill you and stop yours. And ultimately it comes down to whatever the argument is. When you start talking about killing somebody, now, you know, ultimately it got to come down to your energy pretty much is negative, and you trying to stop somebody who's positive. You trying to stop the potential. That's why we always see black murder victims who oh, he was a good guy and he was doing this and he was doing that. Because sometimes the good guys be the easy target. You got something, Pit Boss?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just, I was just waiting to chime in. Let you guys definitely, yeah.
I want to chime in. I want to say something, brother.
Go ahead, brother. How you doing?
How you doing, man? I'm bits and pieces, man, and I'm hearing you speak about the energy. I want to ask you. I kind of want to ask the question along the lines of what we're talking about here about Nipsey Hussle's death, and I kind of think that I hear a lot of things about why he died, what happened, what led to it, and what could have happened or whatever. That probably would stop that. I mean, in short, I don't want this to come off as weird. I really respected what the brother was doing. I liked what he was doing. But what I'm interested in now is because I kind of seen something that it's sad that we would think that some deaths are beautiful or they come as in a form of being beauty, like a lesson comes from it. What am I supposed to get from his death? Because I can't believe that it was for nothing. I heard his brother, when his brother was talking, his brother said, it don't make no sense to him. And then I heard Farrakhan when he spoke, he said that God said, say not of his servants that they're dead. So, and what I want to say is when I hear you talk about shitty cuz, or whatever he called, airport or whatever, I don't think whatever the discussion was, had he not said nothing to that guy, I honestly believe that probably was going to take place anyway. I don't know why it was going to take place, but that party right there in itself was going to happen regardless. And I'm not surprised if other things come up from that, but my question along with the show is, what is we supposed to get from Nipsey's death? Because I heard the brothers talking about the gangster mentality. I heard him talking about the two energies not going to work. But one of the energies that you're speaking about, such as what Nipsey put forth, such as what Tupac put forth, many of them put forth, even Ice Cube goes up and down with the same type of energy. He can get you hot, and then he can bring you down. He can do the same thing with touching the people with his knowledge, with his intellect, articulating how it can be. But I'm just curious, what is we supposed to get from this death, or any of those deaths for that matter? Because I hear y'all talking about the ancestors, I hear you talking about the promises, I hear you saying a lot of things. So to be on point and to continue to go along with it, I'm just extracting the positivity out of that. I mean, one of the things that I did see, like when I heard the brother say, when I heard the Short Spirit say this, now tell me if this makes sense. On one end, I would understand what you said when you said Snoop Dogg got up there and did what he did and overlooked all the other guys from the other side that came to pay their respect. Like, why would you just get up there and act like you didn't hear them and do that? But then on another end, I'm looking at it like, he did what Nipsey Hussle would have did. That's basically what he did. He brought it out and let it know that it was okay to be brought out like that. I don't know if I got the wrong thing from it, but that's kind of like what I was getting out of that. When I seen him up there talking like that, Nipsey, I kind of thought Nipsey tapped into the darkness of the people that's in the hood. Not everybody on the same level. It's a whole. The brother Southfield know what I'm talking about. Is maybe the few young people know what I'm talking about on the phone as well. Not to take from people that don't know what I'm talking about. There's a dark world out there, and in these hoods, it's a whole bunch of levels. You know what I mean? When I say these levels with that mentality, some of them mistaken, some of them ain't real. This guy was one of the ones that didn't have he wasn't restricted whenever he spoke. Whatever he was faced with, consequences, what have you, that's what it was. Or at least that's what he showed. But you got some guys that don't do that. You got some guys in the hood that don't do that. And one of the things that interests me about him, what he said was, the OGs in the hood, what they really be doing is waiting for somebody to blow up big so they can come along with this friendly extortion. Maybe that's why Big U got so upset when them dudes said what they said about him having something to do with this guy's death. Maybe that's why he got upset and got so mad. You see, you got this mentality of a self-entitlement, and I heard you say on the phone earlier, I can't remember, man, because I was just trying to keep up with everything that was being said. I don't really believe that a gangster mentality is an addiction.
I really believe that it's a behavior and an experience. You know what I'm saying? I think it's something that's in most of us. Like naturally, I would say this. One of the brothers I heard you talking to on the phone show the night when he was talking, he gave it a narrative. He said how the brother came in with Bullets Has No Name and how he went out with Marathon. Okay, he gave a beautiful analogy. I mean, when I was just listening to him talk, I was really trying to keep up with all of y'all. Everybody that was talking, I was trying to keep up, man. But this is what I do want to say in reference to that. I heard you say this. I heard you say this right here. Yeah, I get a little nervous to get to talk fast. I start forgetting what I was trying to say because I be wanting to get it out. So excuse me, brother. But I heard the brother when he was giving us analogy when he was talking and everything, and he was talking about how Nipsey came in and how Nipsey went out. Sometimes you don't have to add to it. Sometimes if somebody can get that or understand that, that's pretty much point blank. That's point blank right there. You spoke about something that you was living, and you went out according to something that you was living. Now, if we can hear you say something now, we probably would all be shocked at how you would accept it. Because that's how you talk when you rap. That's how you talk. It is what it is. That was his demeanor. I mean, you articulated, you were smart, you showed intelligence. I mean, you came with the forefront. You gave a lot of people in that hood that don't have a voice the same thing that you seen all those people do with Donald Trump. That's what Nipsey did for a lot of people in the neighborhood right now. He gave a lot of people something to feel proud about, even though most of them didn't understand him. So to keep his marathon going, or to keep his legacy going, this show and many other shows, anything that is a catapult to you thinking to bring black awareness, bringing us up out of this darkness, this hole. I think he was the start of it. I think he was just another one of our people, from Harriet Tubman, from Nat Turner, from the brother that you Booker T. I think he's just another part. Those people that you continuously talk about are solutions to what we're talking about right now for our future.
Yeah.
They have to be. If they're not, you wouldn't be talking about them.
No, exactly. That's why one of the questions that we ask is, can you actually deliver an effective message outside of the gangster paradigm? You feel me? Because, like this brother, and this is what I'm saying about Snoop Dogg, as far as like, this is probably one of the biggest funerals in LA history that I know about. You know what I'm saying? And like with Tupac wasn't from LA. So although he had a lot of LA fans, he wasn't from LA. But Nipsey Hussle was from LA, to where actually one half of the problems in LA concerning the gangbangers actually acknowledged the good work that this dude was doing in his community and the brothers that he embraced across the line that most people can't do or won't do for obvious reasons, because the two, you know, the war between the Bloods and Crips is so real. So even the brother's last text message when he said having strong enemies is a blessing, he was talking about a blood, the other side of the gang war. So now Snoop Dogg understanding the moment, like if you actually really understood the moment, like, man, you was supposed to embrace the other half of the black community that's acknowledging this brother. You feel me? Acknowledging him for who he was. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that energy to where it was almost as if the other half of the black community wasn't acknowledging this dude, and even the non-bangers, the civilians. You know what I'm saying? So I think Nipsey Hussle wouldn't have did that, because he already had a mindset that he knew that with the positive things he was doing, he knew it couldn't be just the Crips. It had to be for everybody, because, you know, he said, so, I mean, if you talking about whitey, then you gotta mean blacky too. See what I'm saying? We can't blast whitey when we blasting our own and keeping the division amongst our own. Now, it's a division that we're supposed to have, but the division is supposed to be right and wrong. Basic morals, basic rules of conduct on how you treat your brothers and sisters of your race. Acknowledging the sacrifices of the ancestors. Feel me? So the only reason why we even talking about this brother on this level, because right now he got opportunities. He's giving opportunities to people right now, and he's dead. See what I'm saying? So that's always good when your actions as a living person lives on even while you're dead. And that's the businesses that he set up, and even, took the time to do that. And especially when we look at most rappers and the money that they scraped up, and we look at the output in the communities, we like, wow, they not adding up. So one of the things that made Nipsey Hussle big is that, man, he actually had love for his community and just showed it in an effective way that changed a few people's lives. That's not even supposed to be phenomenal when we talk about Black Wall Street being burnt down in 1921. That means love for community had to be what built Black Wall Street, which means that Black Wall Street has to be built before it was destroyed. See what I'm saying? So now when we look at that mindset, it go right back to the Queen, who said, like, these lyrics, we creators. Like, we got to understand the power of the tongue, right? Whether it's from a spiritual sense, whether it's from politics, the power of the tongue. So the thing is we speak in death, how we going to build thriving community? Well, we speak in death. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. I answer what you said.
You said when we speak in death. Are you talking about the lyrics of the song when you say speak in death?
Yeah, I'm saying speak in death, whether it's rapping or politics or anything else. You feel me? As far as like, you gotta see that it's a positive, negative, positive energy and a negative energy. You feel me? So, right or wrong, light and dark. You feel me? So ultimately, and I think the brother said something about darkness. Somebody mentioned darkness or whatever. So the thing is, darkness can only give you the darkness. It don't produce light. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, the two things that's prevalent in the Black community, light and darkness, can't coexist. They got to separate. And that's where we are right now, to where we just constantly going to funerals. We just constantly being at the bottom of everything that's decent, and now we're normalizing like wrong, like immoral stuff. We actually can normalize it to where now our little princesses don't even have a chance because they hear bitch and hoe all day. You know what I'm saying? Like our little prince can't grow up and be solid because the gangster paradigm is so strong to where now you got people all over the world where we got Bloods and Crips outside of the United States of America because of the identity crisis that's really going on because through the paradigm shifts that took place in America, Black people really don't respect Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner because we don't push the culture that they created. See what I'm saying? So we're really running around and we accepting a whole bunch of different thought systems, et cetera, that keep us confused. So I asked a brother today that when we look at the Black community and we see all the problems going on, somewhere along the line, we voting and we is complicit in the problems that exist. Because what's the remedy? Why the remedy is not economic, whereas Nipsey Hussle, as a gangbanger, realize one day that the remedy for my people is economics. I'm going to be able to hand them economic opportunity, and that's going to do something to elevate them. Go ahead, brother. You finished?
I was going to ask a question.
Go ahead.
When you was talking about it just now, I just thought about it where I read that he was supposed to meet the following day, that Monday, with some top officials in LA in regards to improving the relations between police and the community, black community. Was that? I know I read it, but I don't know if it was true or what, because I think the mayor and the police chief or commissioner made public statements after he was killed that he was going to meet with them the next day to help them, should I say, have some type of dialogue and possibly some solutions to some problems in the community between the police and the black community. Any of you hear about that, or am I going to find it, I guess?
Yeah, that's usually most black that take some type of active position in the black community somewhere along the lines don't have to be discussing police brutality and all that other stuff with the police. So yeah, that's that's fundamental. Yeah,
that was just so coincidental. When I heard that, I started wondering whether or not what was going on. Whether or not that was something that they might have been arguing about, or he might probably knew, or everybody. I don't know who all knew he was going to be meeting with him the next day. These officials and everything.
Before that,
it's just a really sad thing. It's more than just sad. I mean, it's embarrassing and hurtful. It's heartaching when you see individuals like that come up a certain way and they make something of themselves. And when I say that, I mean they're not selfish with it. They're bringing others with them. Instead of being crabs in the barrel trying to pull them down, and crabs in the barrel, he was trying to pull some people up. And did, obviously, pull some people up from what he was able to do. So he had his heart into the community. And it's just so crazy that brother can get killed like that. Who's been trying to do so much in the community. It's just really, really something that, and I say embarrassing, because I'm embarrassing that who is seeing all of this. And they sitting back laughing, well, we got rid of that one for whatever reason. Now we can go back out there and do what we're doing, what they want to do in the community, and divide us as much as possible some more. But it's just something else, man. At some point, there's got to be a turnaround with that back on black, like it is now. As it is, let me say, back in the 60s when heroin was running rampant through the black community, and eventually, people really had the strength, mental strength and capacity, those that was able to survive, to get off of it, and it's got to be something like that. And the community got to wake up,
Keep this out, brother. Keep this out, brother. Harriet Tubman, right? Queen Harriet Tubman, she said she could have rescued thousands of people enslaved. Some of them wasn't worth taking off the plantation. See what I'm saying? So, so when it comes down to it, we got to look in that mirror, and maybe the positive energy of Nipsey Hussle is looking in that mirror and realizing what you see in the mirror. And the output of what you see in the mirror is going to determine everything. because the question I posed earlier was when we look at just the black community in general and the results, we see a lot of people tied into leading the black community, but when we look at the results, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that an immigrant could come to America and don't know no English and have sense enough to have some economic goals. And then the people right here in America don't even have that same drive. So for the immigrants, come and get the American dream, but for the black Americans, get the welfare program. That's why I tie all that into black inferiority, because the negative things that black people are doing, we can't tie it to the ancestors teaching us that. Because when the ancestors got off the plantation, they didn't act like food. They wasn't tearing up their own community. Remember, they built Black Wall Street. See what I'm saying? The record books say that the African American got off the plantation and within 50 years advanced so fast that no other group in human history ever accomplished that. So we didn't come off the plantation need no medicine, no mental health programs. They built Black Wall Street all over the place. They invented. They created beneficent organizations. They took care of themselves. They had a politic that took care of them and their interests. They didn't put their energy in politics that was serving somebody outside of their community and not them. So ultimately, when we see what's going on today, we can't even connect it with Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner. None of the ancestors, because that ain't what we're doing. So again, the reason why we even talking about Nipsey Hussle is because he actually created common sense programs to help elevate his people. He didn't have to go get no medicine and didn't have to create no psychiatric program. He gave them economic opportunity. That's the foundation of the remedy that we need to solve all the problems in our community. The thing is, we got the gangster mentality that's actually being legalized by the mainstream, that's being publicized by the mainstream, that's destroying the black community, and at the same time, they're giving these brothers and sisters rewards for inserting negative energy into the black community.
Can I speak on something real quick, Sharp Spear?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I want to build on what your last point there, and understanding one of the reasons, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the reasons Nipsey Hussle had such an impact is because we could see the ending happen. Whereas when you grow up in the gang culture, the incident that happened to Nipsey is a common occurrence. You know, I think by the time I turned 18 in Pacoima, California, I might have had 50 obituary papers laying on my desk of 50 different individuals that were in my neighborhood. And that was just by 18 years old. Not to mention, I had a baby brother pass away at his front doorstep by the hands of an individual from the neighborhood. And so when you're living in gang culture Los Angeles, you're shocked into this reality. This is why the outside of Los Angeles, why they seem to not really understand what's going on. I mean, you certainly know that within gang culture, that the incident that happened to Nipsey, it's another story within his gang as the story that's being told, because people talk, they know what's going on. We could tell by the actions immediately after that this wasn't outside the gang, because the gang didn't retaliate on any other gangs with an immediate reaction. So just based on that action alone, we understood that this was an in-house situation. Now, we might not know the details, but taken away from the legacy that he left and looking at the positivity of, as the brother had mentioned earlier, with the dedication song, as he was making this transition out of the negative, we could also see that. And as long as rappers that have the microphone and actors and various people, even though the conditions is rough, as long as we have a visual, then we have an opportunity. But it's the consciousness of the people with the microphones and with the cameras and with the ability to go YouTube or Blog Talk Radio or however they spin it, is that the change came from Nipsey because he did it. And then the change gonna come from the community because they did it. I mean, it really doesn't take long to end gang violence because it happens with the individual. But the individual needs constant reminder to change. And so if we continue to push the message, then the message becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. But we tend to find the negative and look for a way. It's like right now, the Seed Lady came on and she said, they bring in Colombian heroin or Afghanistan heroin and cocaine and guns and various things from outside the community. We know who bringing them. Everybody knows that a rich black drug dealer got a rich black Mexican as his connect. We all watch the movies. We understand the process of these things. Wouldn't it make sense that we need some control on the border for the black community? Wouldn't that be positive that we stop what's going on at the border? But yet when we get someone saying, build a wall, we got 1,000 reasons why we don't want that wall. But we can't think of one reason why we want the wall. These are the things that's going on in politics. These are the opportunities that's coming up for the 2020 election. Do you want abortions? Do you want the gay agenda? Do you want open borders? What do you want? Because once you know what you want, then you know what to do.
Man, I'm glad you said that. And I don't know if Snake Charmer is still around, but we actually wanted to get into, brother, break that down on the Forbes magazine interview with Nipsey Hussle. Man, forgive me, y'all, because this is something I want to bring out early in the game. Go ahead, brother.
Well, one of the last interviews that the brother did was an interview with Forbes magazine, and they were touting his business acumen because his business acumen was top notch, to say the least. And one of the things he was talking about that he was really proud of, and his brother spoke on it, was purchasing that land, that area that they had actually hustled on and got ran off the block, got ran off on Crenshaw. They purchased it. And the reason why they purchased it was because it was one of the opportunity zones that had been created. And, the opportunity zones were actually created by this administration. And he had plans on building, I think, some low-income housing also, some low-income housing, different levels of business structure in there, rebuilding his marathon store, making it larger. You know, so I mean, I think he put up maybe $6 or $7 million, something like that, on that place to buy it, and we're going to put more money in to build on it. And I was telling my brother that one of the songs that he sang before Trump got elected was FTD with YG. And as he evolved into a businessman, he was taking advantage of the opportunities that this administration was creating, which I thought was interesting.
The opportunity zone. Right.
I heard an acronym for POUR a couple of days ago, and it said POUR is passion over opportunities regularly. That's what keeps you poor. Passion over opportunities regularly. Because the opportunities to not be poor are there. But if you pass them up, you will be poor.
Yeah, that's a cold one right there, because once you get into business, business is going to really let you see who's who. And it also makes me think of Byron Allen, who's suing Comcast and Time Warner for racial discrimination. But he also included Al Sharpton and a whole bunch of other so-called black civil rights leaders.
And he got Warner owned by one of the most liberal people in the United States.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is the point where we done got caught up in so many other people's garbage to where now we can't tell the black community that Trump got the opportunity zones going on, and now it's ways of making investments in the black community and getting tax breaks and etc. Because as soon as you say Trump, don't nobody hear nothing else. You know, we so caught up in the hogwash of the politicians that we ain't even looking in the mirror and really seeing what the real problem is and handling the real problem. We point a finger everywhere else. What?
Can I make a little comment?
Go ahead, brother.
Explain this Trump deal you're talking about. He came up with what now? Because, you know, he had a free trade zone, basically, in, black communities. And they also have some other things going on for businesses. But what was it that he started and hadn't heard of it before?
It's called the opportunity zone.
Okay, so what does that do?
The opportunity zones is places all over America to where if you invest within that particular zone, you get different tax cuts and help and opportunities to be successful. And if you keep the program, if you keep your investment within that zone for 10 years, you get some additional, tax breaks or whatever, which basically means that it's encouraging people to invest in areas that people normally wouldn't invest in. And most of the opportunity zones is actually where the so-called poor people live, depending on what your definition of poor means.
Opportunity zone is just another name for a program that's been going on that I'm familiar with. And it's because that's been going on in the inner cities for a while. I don't know if Obama signed or pushed or Clinton.
Okay. What we telling you, bro, is that I mean, Obama might have the opportunity zone going on, just nobody knew about it. What I'm saying is,
it was different name, and I'm sure this was before Obama. It was a different name, but the same concept, and as far as investing money in low income communities and getting tax breaks. In fact, you got some that's investing in what we want to call is nothing but a gold mine for them. They investing in the projects to make them where in part of the projects, public housing, should I say, it's in a block area. I mean, in the square block area down here, but part of it is going to be for what they call public houses. Another part is going to be for, I guess you could say, workplace housing, and so on. But it's all going to be in the same area, in the same structure area and everything.
That right there is going to turn into a scam. That's a scam right there.
And let me read a.
That's what I'm saying. This is the way that Ben Carson got this thing going.
Hey, brother, let me read a new. Hello. So let me read
go ahead, Pibos.
Okay, so I'm gonna read a New York Times post in December 12th of 2018. It says that President Trump directed federal agencies on December 12th to steer spending towards certain distressed communities across the country. Part of his administration push to turn a tax break includes the last years of 1.5 trillion tax package into a broader effect to combat poverty and geographical inequalities. Mr. Trump signed an executive order at the White House to push a federal resource to so-called opportunity zones, a small but lucrative provision tucked into his signature tax cut that in recent months has vaulted to prominence among real estate developers and other investors. That's why what I mean, the purpose is real quick before you let me just say this. The purpose of a STEM program, the purpose of a marathon store on Crenshaw and Slauson is to incentivize investments. I mean, the store looks really nice. If you could put, a business next to it, you would generate profits from the profits that his store brings. As you know, the outflow of energy coming from his store into other nearby stores. So this is what Sharpspear said earlier when he said, regardless of party, Black people's alliance for themselves is to the Black economy. And we should be expecting something from everybody. It's just that simple. We shouldn't be dedicated to any other group but our own. And so whoever is in control, we should be asking for something. And in this capacity, it wasn't a welfare system that created, the opportunity in that zone, but it was a tax break and a way to get capital gains in your neighborhood on investments. So we should look at that as a positive, and we should do research into opportunities under a Trump administration. Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, you should just simply Google economic initiatives in the Trump administration and get educated.
Exactly.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you're talking about for investors versus local people going into business. If I want to open up a barber shop, You know, are we talking in terms of, are we talking about investments in X number?
If you open up a barber shop, then basically you that's the reason for the opportunity zone. Is for you to invest in these areas. Go ahead, St. John.
I was about to say it's also for smaller investors too. In addition to the opportunity zones in terms of the economic initiatives, they've also relaxed the lending structure. They've relaxed.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
So what they're doing is giving out tax credits, so they're not giving out dollars to do this.
They're giving out dollars too. They got grant programs and all that.
Yeah, they would
Okay, because
you can buy a house now. You can buy a house without necessarily having to show your ability to pay for it. They have put a lot of restrictions on being able to purchase property after the housing crash. They've eased those restrictions and regulations now. So now it's back to, if you want to get out there and actually start purchasing land and real estate, you can do it if you want to.
Yeah, okay, that was, one of the things was that the housing industry went astray when they started letting everybody in who really could not afford it, and these balloon mortgages and all kinds of stuff hit them in the face years later. But what I'm saying here is that, just to make it short, all of the agencies would cut back 30% of the budget. So he can build his wall or do whatever it is that he's talking about doing. So that does not interfere. That does not interrupt that, because Congress has lots of money, So I'm just thinking I hadn't heard about it, but this is something very interesting. It's good, and it's like what you're talking about. If it works and it is implemented, that's the thing, because a lot of things come out newly on paper, and nobody gets paid except the workers. And then
it's actually working. It has been working for a while. We need to jump on it, because it won't be working long, because as soon as other administrations get in there that put the regulations back on and take these zones out and stop giving the breaks to the businesses, it's over.
Let me say this. It's 427 places in Florida that's considered the opportunity zone. So it's 427 opportunity zones in Florida. It covers 1.9 million people. It's producing 1.0 million jobs, and it covers 83,000 businesses. And Florida has a minority population of 45%, poverty rate 15%, median income 61,400, 28% of people with a bachelor's degree, adults not working 29%, housing vacancy 9%, rent burden 57%. So now the thing is, who name do we got to put on the opportunity zone for people to take the opportunity?
I think that what it needs to do is be publicized.
You can't publicize it among black people, because if you mention Trump, then that means everybody is going to ignore the opportunity zone.
We have new comedians down here that would.
Okay, well, ask them why they're not talking about the opportunity zones there. When I just Google opportunity zone in Florida, and
is it SBA?
All of that is irrelevant when you can ask your phone opportunity zone in Florida, and then you will see the same thing that I see right here on the internet, where it's 427 opportunity zones in the state of Florida.
Is that right? Wow.
Covering 1.9 million residents, 83,000 businesses. So the thing is that the poverty rate is 15%. So now, is the 15% that's in poverty in Florida gonna benefit from people investing in the 427 opportunity zones? 57% of people in Florida got rent burned. But in the opportunity zone is 64%. Listen to me, brother. I'm talking stats. I'm reading the stats.
Florida is a very expensive place to live.
Okay, so
when you're talking about housing, that I can tell you that housing in Florida is terrible, man. I mean, it is terrible, brother.
I mean, if it's terrible, then I think whoever can't handle it, they might need to leave and go somewhere where they can afford it, right?
Yeah,
or do you want the government to build them a house?
No, in terms of housing, period, in Florida is a real big problem.
Okay, you talking about the opportunity zone. So one of the things, listen to me, brother, listen. One of the things about, brother, listen. One of the things about the energy of Nipsey Hussle was he got involved in the opportunity zone. So one of his plans was to build housing within his community. So now either that's the method or it's not. This is the bottom line. Either that's the method, build for your people, do for yourself, or have somebody else do it. Which one do you want? That's the bottom line. That's ultimately what it comes down with. Who you want to build your house? You or somebody else?
Like I said, it's good to be on a show like this, isn't it? Because I never hear anything about opportunity zones. Period.
That's because you're a Democrat.
You've probably been hearing all about Russia. You've probably been hearing about Russian collusion. See what I'm saying? Because it ain't no secret. It's only a secret to those who not looking. Because the brothers just said that it don't matter who the administration is that's in power, you're always supposed to look at what opportunities exist within their policies. That's not enough.
I got what you're saying, brother, but none of them are in South Florida. All of them on this map that I'm looking at is from, let me see, from around Macon, Kentucky. I bet those Amazon trucks from Macon, Kentucky. I bet they're in an opportunity zone.
Hey, I just want to say that. Hey, real quick, I want to say that some people are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and they refuse to look at the writing on the wall. Because the writing is clear.
I just want to bring this up to you, Spear. I see what you're talking about, and like I said, the ones that are on this map here are from Palm Beach County. From Palm Beach County, no. That's the reason why I never heard of it. I mean, what they're looking at here, you know, as to describe to you, they're looking at mostly small county populated areas. And when you said it was a million, I think it was something that he had to be doing a lot of, in the rural areas. In order to
probably in an opportunity zone.
where you see all those Amazon trucks parked. That's probably an opportunity.
Okay, that's a free trade zone. That's a free trade zone.
Let me say this, brother. Hey, hold on, brother. Listen.
Yeah.
Frederica S. Wilson, Florida District number 24, Democrat Party, is 47 opportunity zones in her district. Al Lawson, Florida District 5, 40 Democrat, 45 opportunity zones in their district. LCL Hastings, Florida District number 20, Party Democrat, 41 opportunity zones in his district. Kathy Castor, Florida District number 14, Party Democrat, 37 opportunity zones in their thing. So that's four Democrats right there. One of them got 47 opportunity zones in their district. The other one has 45. The other one has 41. The other one has 37. Now we're going to see what happens within those districts. That's how we check what the people who represent the black community is doing. See, we never heard of the opportunity zones, but there's 47 of them, and Frederica Wilson.
That's me. That's I'm going to get back to you, brother.
What district you in?
A couple of years, and from all of the stuff that I've been looking at, I never heard of anyone talking about it. You know.
Okay, you got that.
I see where it is. Information, the information that you got there on, I mean, that's good information. I'm just saying, I'm looking at the map
but I'm saying, brother, you spending time on the mic, like, in doubts about the program, but everybody who spoke on it, they already did prior research on the opportunity zone. That's why the brother was saying that Nipsey Hussle.
It was new to me.
I know, but I'm saying it's new to you, but it's 4 people on the line who familiar with the opportunity zone.
That's good.
So I'm saying that's why we talking about it, but you talking about what you didn't know. So I'm saying, okay, you don't know, that's cool, but we should be able to get out more information on the opportunity zone because we know about it. So now I'm telling you is that if we really is keeping up with what's going on in the country or in the community, if we don't know about the opportunity zones, then that means that we're not in the position to inform our people because we don't know what's going on in the country.
As long as they listening to you on the radio, they get informed.
Yeah, well, but we try to get out more information, and you talking about what you don't know, and you preventing us to talk about what we do know. That's the thing, is like you making an argument off of what you don't know when we reading it to you right now. It's 427 opportunity zones in the state of Florida. 47 of them is in Frederica Wilson's district, the black woman that wear all the fancy cowboy hats. That's talking about Trump all day. So why she not talking about the opportunity zone? It's 47 of them in her district.
I didn't say that she wasn't. I said I.
But you ain't her. But I'm saying, brother, okay, I get it. I understand you. I know that your I don't represent everybody. I'm just saying in general is that I told you I listened to a 2-hour YouTube video about how to take advantage of the opportunity zones, and never once did they mention Donald Trump. And I said that was genius because them people cared enough about black people where they said, I'm going to tell you about these opportunities, but I'm not going to mention Trump because we know that some of y'all got Trump derangement syndrome. You know what I'm saying? So we got to jump through all of these different loops on informing our people.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy in 2 years Trump set all of this up, okay? In 2 years, I mean, I'm glad that he set all of this up, brother. And that's fine with me. So I'm sure.
Yeah, but it don't got nothing to do with Trump, brother. That's what you. But
after he became president.
But see, you missing it, brother. But you missing it though. It ain't even about Trump. It's about African Americans in America taking advantage of opportunities, regardless of where they come from. We not pom-pom. We not sacrificing the African American community based on some political party. That's what I'm saying. We not sacrificing our race for no political party. We're already doing enough of that, and that's why we can see the results.
I don't know where else to check on that. I'm glad you brought it up. Really?
Yeah.
I thought that you would would have brought it up earlier. You know what I mean? Because this is good information. I'd like to find out more about it myself.
Oh, we were discussing this. We were actually discussing this before Trump was in office, because we knew the conditions were going to be right for it. And that's the advantage of listening to Big City Radio, because we actually understand. You actually have to look at the trends. And to our listeners right now, you have to take advantage of this right now. Because if for some reason Trump is not reelected, or if he is reelected, those conditions are going to continue for another maybe 5-6 years. After that, it's going to be a full 8 years of economic conditions that's going to be economic hardship for us. So we won't see the conditions that are right now for economic growth. After this period, we won't see it for another 10 years. For me, it'll be too late. So we have to take advantage of it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're definitely able to get out, man. I knew nothing about it. And where I came from, I guess I imagine they got it out there too.
Oh, yeah. And more than likely, we have Amazon trucks parked at that Amazon headquarters. That's probably an opportunity zone. And it's not just opportunity zones. It's a lot of other things regarding that issue, economic development that's being done right now. We just have to look into these things as opposed to looking at the negative. We have to look at the things that can be done right now. It's easier to buy real estate right now. They've lowered the
Don't come to South Florida, brother. They need to buy real estate down here, man. Florida is not cheap. That's South Florida.
Well, I can
tell you that.
It's not necessarily cheaper because it's going up. But what is happening is the restrictions on being able to purchase it and the regulations are being eased. And all that.
Yeah, this is the one that you're looking at up here is Stearns Weaver.
Is Spear still online?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one you were looking at is about Stearns and Weaver.
About who?
I'm looking at the census tracts here. And I was wondering if it's the same one that you were looking at. It's by Stearns and Weaver.
You said you was looking at what?
I was looking at the information, the census tracts for this program. I was looking at the same one that you were looking at by Stearns and Weaver.
Nah, this one is called, what I'm looking at is called, the Economic Innovation Group, and it just have, so when you go, it got a map of the United States, and then when you push on Florida, it just gives you a map. But it's called the Economic Innovation Group. That's the website I'm on.
All right, y'all. I'm closing out the show because, god damn it, it's 12 something. I don't get paid for this shit. But that's the two energies of Nipsey Hussle. On one end, the gangbang mentality. On the other end, economic development, growth and development. You dig? I'm the digital pit boss. I'm the realest shit on YouTube.